So, if you're a QA professional and you're aiming for that next step, a leadership role, you already know that your technical skill is only half the battle. This explainer? Well, this is your playbook for mastering the other half, communication. Let's dive right in.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Your entire job is built on precision, right? You find the exact point of failure, that one specific edge case nobody else thought of. We're going to apply that same sharp eye for detail to our language, so we can move from just good enough to being undeniably clear. And this is a really important question to ask yourself. Is your English maybe creating a little bit of confusion? Is it forcing your teammates to spend time decoding your grammar instead of just focusing on your brilliant ideas? Yeah, we're here to fix that.
Okay, so our playbook today has 3 core strategies. First, we'll talk about how to structure your meaning. Then, we're going to zoom in on verbs and time. And finally, we'll sharpen up the details with some really precise word choices.
First up, structuring your meaning. This is all about those foundational words that frame your entire message. They control whether your listener hears a fact, a guess, or maybe just an imaginary scenario.
Let's start with a classic that QA leaders face every single day: will versus would. And the rule is actually pretty simple. You use will for reality, for things you expect to happen. You save would for imaginary, what-if situations. So saying, "I think the server will crash," is a real prediction based on what you see. But the server would crash if we overloaded it. Well, that's purely hypothetical.
But here's the thing. These 2 words are incredibly versatile. Will can make a promise. Won't can describe a system that just refuses to work right now. Like when you say the script won't run. And would can talk about habits in the past, make polite suggestions, or even report what someone else said. Mastering these unlocks a huge range of expression.
All right, next up is a really common one. It's a foundational structure. A frequent error is using "it is" to introduce something new. The correct way is always "there is" or "there are." And listen, this isn't just some boring grammar rule. It's a signal to your listener that says, hey, pay attention, new information is coming.
And this is how you calibrate your certainty as a leader. "There's a bug" is a fact. But "there seems to be a bug" signals you're reporting evidence, but you're not 100% sure yet. "There might be a bug" acknowledges a possibility. And "there should be a backup plan" that states a clear, professional expectation. This is precision in action.
Awesome. Let's move on to our second play, mastering verbs and time. Think of it like this. Verbs are the engine of your sentences, and tenses are the GPS. When you get them right, you tell a clear, chronological story, which is absolutely vital in job interviews and in your daily stand-up meetings.
So, past simple is for actions that are totally finished. At my last job, we tested manually. It's over, it's in the past. Present simple describes your current routines. Our team runs tests nightly. And then there's present perfect, which connects the past to right now and really emphasizes your experience. I have managed teams for 5 years means that experience is still relevant today.
Now let's talk about 2 critical structures that often cause a bit of confusion: the continuous and the passive. So to describe an action that's in progress right now, you need be plus an ing verb. To focus on the object of an action, you need be plus a past participle. You see the pattern? That little word be is the absolute key.
And here's the mistake that's so easy to make. When you're speaking quickly, it's really tempting to just drop that be verb. But saying something like "developers refactoring the module" just sounds incomplete. It's a tiny little word that makes a huge difference in your professional clarity. And here's where this grammar stuff becomes a real leadership tool. When you combine a modal verb like should or must with the passive voice, you create a super clear directive. You can't say, "this bug should fix," right? Because the bug can't fix itself. You have to say, "this bug should be fixed." This structure is absolutely essential for making recommendations and setting priorities.
And that brings us to our final play, choosing words with precision. Okay, so we've built the structure, now let's furnish it with the exact right words. Believe me, these are the small choices that can have a surprisingly big impact on how you're perceived.
Prepositions can be tricky, for sure. The best way to learn them is as set phrases. You apply for a job. You are responsible for a process. You are in charge of a team. Using the wrong one is a small thing, but it's an immediate flag that can distract people from your actual message.
Oh, this one is a subtle but critical difference. On time means punctual, exactly at the scheduled moment, like 10 a.m. sharp. In time means early enough, with some room to spare before a deadline. Confusing these two can totally change the meaning of a status update.
Okay, here are 3 words that leaders need every single day. A productive meeting is one where you get a lot done. An effective test plan is one that actually finds the critical bugs. And an efficient process finds those bugs with the least amount of time and resources. They are not interchangeable. They describe totally different dimensions of quality.
And the same goes for how your team makes decisions. Did you reach a consensus where everybody was 100% on board? Or was it a compromise, where each side had to give up a little something to move forward? Using the right word here accurately describes your team's dynamics and helps you avoid misunderstandings.
Finally, in project management, these terms have very, very distinct meanings. A deadline is a hard stop for a task. A milestone is just a progress checkpoint along the way. And the launch date is when it goes live for users. Confusing them can cause serious planning problems. Precision here is totally non-negotiable.
Okay, so we've gone through our 3 plays: structuring your meaning, mastering verbs, and choosing precise words. Now let's see how they all come together in a single, powerful sentence that a QA lead might actually say.
Let's break this down. There should be sets a clear professional expectation. That where found uses the passive voice perfectly because bugs don't find themselves. And the team will prioritize makes a clear prediction about a future action. Look at all that meaning packed into just one professional statement.
And this, right here, this is the ultimate goal of precision. To make your language completely invisible. Because when your communication is flawless, people stop trying to decode your grammar. They just focus on the value of your ideas, your expertise, and your leadership.
So here is my challenge to you. Don't just absorb this information. Pick one principle, just one, from this playbook and consciously try to apply it in your next team meeting or your next stand-up, and just notice the impact it has. Thanks for joining me.